Good evening, everyone. I'll call the meeting to order. This is a regular council meeting for Coquitlam City Council. My name is Richard Stewart. I'm the mayor, and I get the opportunity tonight to open with a special occasion. I'll begin that occasion by acknowledging some special people who are here tonight, some of whom haven't been here in a bit. We have with us tonight, now retired, but former councillor and former MLA, Diane Thorne. Good to see you. We have a former councillor and current MLA, Selena Robinson. We also have a number of staff, former staff who, some of whom haven't crossed the thresholds of our City Hall in a number of years, and it's so good to see them here tonight. I want to acknowledge former General Manager of Parks and Recreation, Don Cunnings, the fellow who hired me 38 years ago. No, he doesn't regret it. This crowd. We also have former General Manager of Parks and Recreation, Barry Elliott is here. There he is, thank you. We have former City Manager, Norm Cook. He was also former engineer and stuff. There you are. And we have former, I guess the title was Director of Corporate Communications, Therese Michelson. There we are. And there's others. I see some others here. I'm going to stop there, though. Tonight is about Trevor Wingrove. And I want to spend a few moments, first and foremost, acknowledging Trevor's family, who's here with us this evening, his wife, Libby, his daughter, Megan, his father, Les, his mother, Joanne. I know that his brother, Craig, he's not able to make it here tonight. We want to acknowledge Craig as well. Trevor grew up in our community, where he attended Parkland Elementary, Como Lake Junior Secondary, and Centennial Secondary Schools. He was a member of Coquitlam's Minor Lacrosse Association. He excelled at the sport, and he played at the top level as a member of the junior and senior Adnaks. Professionally, Trevor proved himself as a dedicated hard worker, which is how he grew from a seasonal employee at the City of Coquitlam all the way to becoming the General Manager of Corporate Services. Sadly, in 2010, Trevor lost a hard-fought battle with cancer at the much too young age of 42. And you can tell a lot about who Trevor was by the words that other people used to describe him: devoted, gregarious, kind, generous, quick-witted, just to name a few. Many of our goals at the city can be furthered by recognizing the achievements of those who have made a positive influence on our community here in Coquitlam. And without a doubt, Trevor Wingrove deserves that recognition. And so it is with great respect and admiration that on behalf of City Council, I announce that the road that crosses through Town Centre Park, the road that's currently named Park Entry Way, will be renamed, most aptly, Trevor Wingrove Way. Joanne, Les, Libby, Megan, and Craig, I hope that this gesture in some small way helps you know how much we valued the work that Trevor did and his lasting legacy on our city. Thank you. I'd like to add that anyone in attendance tonight or watching online or on TV who would also like to honor Trevor, we'd invite them. The Coquitlam Foundation has a bursary called the Trevor Wingrove Bursary Fund, and we certainly would invite any acknowledgements that wanted to find their way there. This fund was established in 2013 to help graduating high school students who have played lacrosse with the Coquitlam Minor Lacrosse Association and who are enrolled in a post-secondary institution, a training program, or a career training program. More information on the fund can be found at coquitlamfoundation.com. Now, I'd like to invite Trevor's family to join me for a presentation up here, and perhaps we'll have Councillors Sikora and Reid, who perhaps knew Trevor more than many of the others because they were here for so much of that time, to join us, because we have these signs here. So the Trevor Wingrove Way sign, well, that's actually a backlit one, but we have them in metal. So we're going to really glare out because of the
It's not glaring because of the sign, okay?
Just that one there. Not so.
This way?
Yeah, a little bit towards me.
I know it's my fault.
We don't want to find these on others.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course, the entire Wingrove family has contributed so much to our community, and we want to thank them for coming out today and sharing this time with City Council and with our residents. Trevor Wingrove Way. Now we're just going to have to go in and change all the GPSs. I feel bad that the creativity that named Park Entryway is going to be lost. Thank you again. Mr. Clerk.
Thank you, Your Worship. Our next item, item 2, is the minutes of the regular council meeting held on Monday, December 9th. The recommendations to approve those minutes.
Moved by Councillor Askinson, second by Councillor Sikora. All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously.
Item 3 is the minutes of the Coquitlam River Aggregate Advisory Committee meeting of Wednesday, November 20th. The recommendations to receive those minutes.
Moved by Councillor Nicholson, second by Councillor Hodge. All in favor?
I've got a...
Oops. Councillor O'Neill.
Yes.
Next item.
Oh, sorry.
No, you've got to speak now. You've
never mind
pushed
then.
your button.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Say something witty. Okay.
Hi.
All in favor? Aye. All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously.
Item of business arising out of that committee's meeting concerns the BC Hydro Coquitlam Monitoring Committee. The recommendation from the committee was that the Coquitlam River Aggregate Advisory Committee write to BC Hydro requesting a formal seat at their Coquitlam Monitoring Committee.
Councillor O'Neill.
Yes, I'd recommend that I'd like to propose an amendment to this to change the wording to...
It's not been moved yet, so just move a motion.
Okay. I'll move.
No, you're moving what?
Now I want to move
No, just,
an amendment.
just move an amended version of the wording as your
I
motion.
want to move an amended version of the wording.
Okay?
Okay, thank you. And that wording would be that the City of Coquitlam write to BC Hydro requesting a formal seat for the Coquitlam River Aggregate Advisory Committee on the BC Hydro Coquitlam Monitoring Committee. I believe this was the intention of the committee.
And that was moved by Councillor O'Neill, second by Councillor Hodge. That we write, it would probably be signed by the mayor and co-signed by the chair of the committee. All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A second item of business arising out of that committee's meeting concerns its 2012 annual report. The recommendations that the Coquitlam River Aggregate Advisory Committee 2012 annual report be approved.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor O'Neill, second by Councillor Nicholson. We're moving at breakneck speed on this one. All in favor? All opposed? Carried unanimously.
Item 4 is the minutes of the Multiculturalism Advisory Committee meeting of Wednesday, November 20th. The recommendation that these minutes be received.
Moved by Councillor Asmundson, seconded by Councillor Nicholson. All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously.
Item 5 is the minutes of Sustainability and Environmental Advisory Committee meeting of Thursday, November 21st. Recommendation to receive.
Moved by Councillor Nicholson, second by Councillor Asmundson. All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously.
Item 6 is the minutes of the Arts and Culture Advisory Committee meeting of Tuesday, November 26th. Recommendation to receive.
Moved by Councillor Nicholson, second by Councillor O'Neill. All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously.
Item 7 is fourth and final reading of City of Coquitlam Highway Dedication Cancellation Bylaw number 4450. The recommendation from staff is that Council give fourth and final reading to City of Coquitlam Highway Dedication Cancellation Bylaw 4450.
Moved by Councillor Asmundson, second by Councillor Nicholson. All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Or Hodge, sorry.
Moving on to reports of staff. Our first report of staff is item 8. This is a temporary use permit consideration for a medical marijuana grow operation at 970 Adair Avenue. The recommendation from staff is that Council decline consideration of this temporary use permit for 970 Adair Avenue and direct staff to ensure the site is in conformance with zoning bylaw regulations.
Moved by Councillor O'Neill, second by Councillor Sikora. All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously.
Item 9 is a preliminary report on an application for Heritage Designation Bylaw 4457. This is for Unit 5 at 307 Begin Street. The staff recommendation is that Council give first reading to City of Coquitlam Heritage Designation Bylaw 4457 and refer Bylaw 4457 to public hearing.
Moved by Councillor Hodge, second by Councillor Nicholson. All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously.
Item 10 is a preliminary report on an application for zoning amendment bylaw 4461. This is for 2 quadruplex developments at 635 and 645 Gauthier Avenue. The recommendation from staff is that Council give first reading to City of Coquitlam zoning amendment bylaw 4461 and that bylaw 4461 be referred to public hearing.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor O'Neill, second by Councillor Sikora. Councillor O'Neill.
Yeah, it's just heads up or a question for the I don't know what department is in charge of street numbers or numbering of people on house numbers, but I was down there on the street looking at the sites that are part of this, and the numbers on the houses go from 637 to 635 to 633 to 631, back up to 639. And and then down to 623 and to 615. It could cause confusion to firefighters or emergency responders or something like that. These
council members. Yeah.
Not council members. No. No. I figured it out right away after 3 times up and down the street. But the numbers on the houses are out of order. So just something, I don't know how that happened. But other than that,
That's odd.
Other than that, the area looks like it, well, actually, I'm just wanting to support this going ahead. Thank you. To the next stage.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay. I've got Councillor Hodge.
Same concern. I was just trying to figure out what was going on with the addressing down there, so I'm good.
Okay, so subject to cleaning up the addresses, we're going to move forward to first reading and a public hearing. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Item 11 is a development permit authorization for transitional housing development at 3030 Gordon Avenue. The recommendation from staff is that Council approve the signing and sealing of this DP for 3030 Gordon, and that the Mayor and City Clerk be authorized to execute it and the attached good neighbor agreement on behalf of the City.
Moved by Councillor Asmundson, second by Councillor O'Neill. Councillor Reid.
Thank you. Where do the pets go? When we first went into this venture, for the homeless folks, there was supposed to be a place for the pets too, for their carts and their stuff, and when they came in overnight, there was supposed to be a place for the pets. So who's going to answer that? I'm sure.
Oh, here he comes.
Is it going to be my house? Yeah.
No, the essentially practice for pets is to bring the pets into the building with the owner. They have tried various other schemes before, which is put them in kennels outside, under covered shelter.
No,
or
I'm
something.
happy that they're in with their owners,
Okay.
but it didn't say anything about them in here, and it
Yeah.
was something I'm concerned about. So,
Yeah. That's what's
thank you
happening.
very much.
There we go. Councillor O'Neill on the question of pets.
No, not on the question of pets. I just wanted to just make a couple of comments on this. One, that this is the first time I've noticed that the applicant is proposing 26,573 square feet in the four-story building, and that's considerably smaller than the first presentations that came before the public several years ago. For quite a while, it was talked about as a 38,000 square foot proposal, and but at the same time, the numbers of rooms, 30 transitional suites, 30 extreme weather dormitory suites, and 30 emergency shelter beds are all the same. So it's actually shrunk quite a bit, and
We might be on square footage of the property.
no, it's a 38,000 square foot building, I think. It was supposed to be. Anyway, maybe I got it wrong. Hang on a second.
We can't find
Yeah,
it.
no, it was, yeah. I've got something here from what says exterior features a four-story building with approximately 38,000 square foot of indoor space. And we're down to 26,000, which I think is fine. I don't
No,
want to have...
actually, that's the site has a total area of 26,000.
What?
Isn't it?
No. Well, let's get some clarification then from somebody.
Worship,
how big is the building, and how big was the original proposal for the building?
The site is about an acre, and 26,000 is roughly half an acre. And because the site coverage maximum, they're just a little bit over, in a four-story envelope, it's 26,000 square feet for the building.
And so the original proposal, though, was for 38,000 square foot of indoor space, is what I see here. And that was deemed not necessary, or was able to shrunk down, or is that was too big for the site?
Your Worship, I do generally recall that the original building was larger than this. The building height, though, was a bit of a concern, and they've kept to that. In terms of how they've made more efficient use of the interior layout, perhaps the representative of the proponent can speak to that. Our understanding, this is what they felt was necessary and available for the program they want to do in the building.
That's good. Well, sure.
I see the confusion because the site is 26,573 square feet of land, and they're building a building at 26,573 square feet of building
But
as
on
well.
four
It's got an
levels.
FSR of 1.000000.
Yeah, so I don't have the files that said what exactly we were doing before, but in that original scheme, that was a concept with the best information we had at the time. And this is now, when we drill down and get into the details about each square foot for each room. So this is an adequate response to what the needs are of both the residents of the building and what the proponent requires as well.
Excellent.
So we're
Good.
fine.
Okay. Just wanted clarification on that. Thank you. And I was very pleased to see the good neighbor agreement in here being, because before I was on council, that was the one thing that I kept hearing about was the impact, of course, on the neighborhood and specifically nefarious activities that might take place around the building and make sure they were properly monitored and everything. And this good neighbor agreement that's part of this is a tremendous document. It involves the community, it involves the city, it involves the police, it involves the operator, And I think this is definitely the way to go. So I'm very pleased to see that. Spelled it in such detail, but the processes involved and making sure that everybody stays on top of what's going on there. And I think that'll go a long way to showing the people in the neighborhood that we as a city are very concerned about their concerns, and we have taken the steps, put in place a mechanism to ensure that this is a well-operated facility that will have minimal impact on the surrounding residential areas. So thank you.
Well, I'd like to acknowledge those people that have tried so hard for so long and worked so hard for so long, including one of them who's here, whose vision described this building a number of years ago, Sandy Burpee, who has chaired the processes in many ways to get this done. Today we actually have before us a development permit. It's been a long time coming, and we see the light at the end of this long process. A building that I think will be incredibly important to our community and will serve a need that we hope continues to decline, but nonetheless a need that is in every community of the Lower Mainland. This is a long time coming, and I'm glad we're here. Thank you very much, Sandy. Got Councillor Sikora.
Yeah, thank you very much. I noticed that it looks like 90 bids, or the 30 suites with emergency shelter bids 30 and extreme weather bids 30. Is the extreme weather bids and the emergency shelter bids one and the same, or what are they? I just want to be able to understand this a little better.
I might as well just stay up here, right? Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I should introduce myself. Andy Hiscox with City Spaces Consulting. And Sean Spear from Rain City Housing was going to join me tonight, but he's had some health issues in and out of hospital last week, so he's not here. So I'll try to answer your questions as best I can. And since I've been on the file for about 5 years, I should know most of it. No, there's 30 shelter beds, and then there's 30 transition units, and the 30 extreme weather beds will only be triggered for usage when there's an extreme weather. So that's an announcement that's made by the Metro Vancouver Homelessness Steering Committee that announces, or some person from there that says, the weather's gone down, it's raining, it's cold, we need to open up extra beds. And so those beds will be used at that particular point in time. And the way we've organized that is to spread them out so that they're not in one big location where we have 30 people on mats, but we'll have 10 beds on each of the 3 floors. So a room with 10 dormitory-style kinds of accommodation for those people.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. And that's it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Motion before us is a development permit. All in favor? All opposed? That motion carries unanimously and with our thanks.
The next item, item 12, is a preliminary report on the citywide official community plan amendment bylaw 4462 and zoning amendment bylaw 4463. These are for a proposed subdivision at 1503 and 1509 Coast Meridien Road. The recommendation from staff is that council give first reading to City of Coquitlam citywide official community plan amendment bylaw 4462, first reading to City of Coquitlam zoning amendment bylaw 4463, and that these 2 bylaws be referred to public hearing.
Moved by Councillor Hodge, second by Councillor Asmundson. All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously.
Item 13 is fourth and final reading to citywide official community plan amendment bylaw 4415 and zoning amendment bylaw 4416. This is for a child care facility with an accessory residential use at 3486 Wessex Court. The recommendation is that council give fourth and final reading to City of Coquitlam citywide official community plan amendment bylaw 4415 and fourth and final reading to City of Coquitlam zoning amendment bylaw 4416.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councillor O'Neill, second by Councillor Sikora. All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously.
Item 14 concerns amendments to the city's sign bylaw. This is bylaw number 4459. The recommendation is that council give first, second, and third readings to City of Coquitlam sign amendment bylaw number 4459.
Moved by Councillor Asmundson, second by Councillor Hodge. All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously.
Item 15 concerns Rogers Streetlight Wireless Communications Facility at Mariner and Como Lake. The recommendation from staff is that Council approve a grant of license, generally in the form of the attached agreement to Rogers Communications, in order to replace 2 city streetlight poles at the intersection of Mariner Way and Como Lake Avenue with 2 integrated streetlight and wireless communications facility poles, and 2, that the Mayor and City Clerk be authorized to sign the agreement.
Moved by Councillor Asmundson, seconded by Councillor O'Neill. All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. That's it. We're going to have a unanimous meeting again. We're starting the year off right.
Item 16 is the Metro Vancouver Board and Brief for their meeting of December 13th. Our representatives are available to respond to questions, and the staff recommendation is to receive the brief for information.
Moved by Councillor O'Neill, seconded by Councillor Nicholson. All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. That's it.
That's it.
Council has taken a New Year's resolution that we're all going to be of one mind from now on. And quieter, maybe that was it. Motion to adjourn from Councillor Asmundson, seconded by Councillor Cirillo. Oops, we have it on the table.
Yes.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Thank you. I was looking around for
Put
that.
stuff away already.
Yeah, there wasn't one in front of me, so we do.
Hi.
Hi. This on-table item, which we have numbered item 17, concerns an appointment to the Coquitlam Public Library Board. The recommendation from staff is that Aaron Adams be appointed to the Coquitlam Public Library Board.
Moved by Councillor O'Neill, seconded by Councillor Nicholson. Councillor O'Neill, of course, is the City Council's representative to the Library Board. No discussion. All in favor? All opposed? Our deep thanks to Aaron Adams and all of the members of the Library Board for the commitment that they put into that. That motion carries unanimously.
Thank you for catching that.
It was Councillor Asmundson who caught it.
We have a previously moved and seconded adjournment.
Councillor Asmundson moved and Councillor Nicholson seconded adjournment. I think, no, Councillor O'Neill seconded adjournment. Doesn't matter. Oh, Councillor Cirillo seconded adjournment. You're right. All in favor of adjournment. All opposed. Motion carries unanimously. We'll now have our question period up to 15 minutes or 10% of the time that we spent during the actual meeting as a maximum. Is there anyone at all that would like to ask a question? Anyone at all? Anyone?
I can't see anybody.
No. Now, it has to be on tonight's agenda, of course, but you know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Item number 3, the Coquitlam River Aggregate
I knew it.
Advisory. Oh, you want my name?
Yes,
Jim
please.
Allard, 1930 Burnett. I unfortunately was late, but I do have a question, and I also have an opinion. And I think that this Coquitlam River Aggregate Task Force is an awesome project you got, starting with our friend May Reed way back then, and then having to put up with Terry O'Neill recently, and now he's got assistant Chris Wilson. I think that's fantastic. But one of the things that I wish that you would do is that on the November 20th meeting, and this is the question, can you put more detail, more meat in the minutes of the November 20th minutes? There was some very serious discussions that took place on item number 4, the Falaka flood, the pipeline road, and I know that all of council doesn't like to hear from me, so you have to read it. And it is so brief and so sparse that you really don't get an idea of the flavor of what the situation is down there. So, you know, I think you need a little more detail, because you guys need to know what's going on down there. So my question is...
We assign that committee to one of our best. Julie Hunter is the committee clerk for that committee, and she is her role is to try to keep you to a minimum number of words.
And the chair does that too. So, so we have a bit of a problem. And then you won't let me ask questions. So But the point is that there's a bunch of good work going on there, and I think council needs to know a little more detail about what's happening down there. And unfortunately, I missed a whole bunch of tonight's meeting, but I did get here in time to ask a question. So it would be nice to see a little more detail. We only meet twice a year now, so it shouldn't be too tough for Julie to put 2 more sentences and a couple more paragraphs in there.
We pay her by the word.
Huh?
We
40 cents a word. You can be just like our friend.
Councillor O'Neill on that.
Yeah, coincidentally, Councillor Wilson and I and Julie are meeting tomorrow morning to discuss the work plan for the coming year, and a private meeting that we had to discuss what we're going to be doing with crack in this coming year. And we can certainly take up this issue about more detailed minutes. We can talk about it then, and perhaps
maybe you should come and join us, because I'm meeting with your engineering department at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning to go over the issue that you wouldn't let me talk about at the November 20th meeting.
I did let you talk about it, and I set up a meeting for you, the meeting that you're having tomorrow morning.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Anyway, I do appreciate the fact that we are having a meeting, but I think the rest of the council...
Sir, you've asked your question. You're out of order now.
No, I'm still standing here.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the audience on tonight's agenda? Don't be intimidated by how good that one was. Are there any other questions from tonight's agenda? Any other questions at all? Seeing none, thank you all for coming. Have a good evening.